The story of Saint Clare of Assisi, in the gentle hills of Assisi, Italy. A young girl named Clare was born in 1193 to a noble family. From her earliest years, she showed a heart inclined toward prayer, kindness, and care for the poor. While her friends admired fine clothes and jewelry, Clare found joy in giving food to the hungry and comforting the sick. When Clare was a teenager, she heard about a young man named Francis, who had given up wealth and comfort to live in poverty for Christ. Curious, she went to hear him preach during Lent. His words about renouncing the world and living only for God pierced her heart like an arrow. She knew her life would never be the same. On Palm Sunday in 1212, while other young women were dressed in silk for the feast, Clare wore a simple robe and slipped away under the cover of night. She went to the little chapel of the Porziuncola, where Francis and his brothers received her. There, Clare laid aside her rich garments, had her hair cut, and dedicated herself entirely to God. She became the first woman to follow Francis's way of life. At first, she stayed in a Benedictine convent for protection, but soon she and other women, some her own family members, formed a community beside the Church of San Damiano. They lived in extreme poverty, owning nothing, spending their days in prayer, fasting, and serving God. Clare became their abbess and guided her sisters with gentleness and firmness. Clare's faith was unshakable. One famous story tells of the time soldiers threatened to attack Assisi. Clare, too ill to leave her bed, had the Blessed Sacrament placed in a monstrance and carried it to the convent wall. Facing the invaders, she prayed for the protection of her sisters. Suddenly, the soldiers were struck with fear and fled without harming anyone. For more than 40 years, Clare remained devoted to the life of poverty and prayer, refusing even papal permission to hold property for her community. She believed utterly in God's providence. In her final days in 1253, she received word that the Pope had approved the privilege of poverty she had long desired for her order. She died shortly after, on August 11th, at the age of 59. Saint Clare of Assisi was canonized just 2 years later. She is remembered as the founder of the Poor Clares, a woman of courage and humility, and a soul whose love for Christ shone brighter than gold.